Did we ever think it would happen? There's always the possibility that it could, but you didn't focus on it happening. Hello, my name's Tim, and this is my Cold War story. I joined the Royal Observer Corps in 1976 when I was 17 and stayed in it until 1989. So I served for 13 years in the Corps 20 group, which was based in York. Initially I was an observer on a monitoring post in the south of the group. Later on I was promoted to become a post instructor, leading observer, and then in 1986 I became a spare time group officer. So all that service was spare time. I was working in a full-time job at the same time. The Royal Observer Corps was the field force of an organisation called the United Kingdom Warning and Monitoring Organisation, which was part of the Home Office in its turn. As the field force, we were responsible for collecting and presenting information on nuclear bursts over the United Kingdom and the resulting fallout. The UKWMO's primary responsibility was for issuing warnings to the public of the threat of air attack and of the approach of fallout. There were approximately 850 small monitoring posts dotted around the United Kingdom containing these crews of 3. They were reporting their information to 25 group headquarters and 5 sector headquarters where all the information was collated and presented and where scientists could interpret, if you like, the data that was being presented to them. By providing that information to our group headquarters, they could then calculate where a nuclear weapon had detonated, how powerful that weapon was. It would have been apocalyptic. The assumption is that it would have been an overwhelming attack which would have destroyed everything, as we're seeing in modern times. You know, there are thoughts of, if you're going to use a nuclear weapon, do you send one just to warn people that you are going to use a nuclear weapon? What kind of attack are you taking? In peacetime, you know, I can't say as a young man it filled my head all the time. You know, we were working in the day, you did your job, you met once a week to train for a couple of hours, you focused on that while you were doing it. Underlying that was clearly a desire to do what you thought was the right thing, but you know, training on Tuesday and in the pub on Wednesday evening. We, I think, believed underlying it all in deterrence, and our role was part of that deterrent posture, to convince a potential enemy, if you like, that at the very least we would survive long enough to hit back, and hoping that that actually meant that the thought of nuclear war was so horrific that if a potential enemy thought they couldn't get away with a first strike, that deterrent posture would mean that there would be no nuclear war.